My next guest has celebrated great achievements, experienced failure, and endured tragic loss, all of which have helped him become a prolific singer-songwriter. And he's here to share how he got through those moments and his new project, Yellow Balloons. David Dunn, welcome to Turning Point International.
Thanks for having me.
Now, I know that a big part of your story was traveling to Africa, and us Africans like to take credit for stuff, you see. So I gather without us, you wouldn't have started music.
Well, more like I wouldn't be continuing to do music.
Okay.
So I went to Zambia to do microfinancing. I was there for 13 months.
Now, microfinancing is...
it's small-scale loans to try and end the poverty cycle.
Okay.
But I didn't know what I was doing. And so it was a wild failure. So
as you do as a young man, just get on the plane
no idea.
and solve the problems of the world.
That's exactly. I had high ideals and very low IQ, is what I like to say. So I showed up, and it was really the first time in my life. It was right after college. So it was the first time in my life to where I had unequivocally failed at something, where I couldn't blame someone else for something that had happened, right? Usually something would happen and I could go, oh, it's kind of my fault, but also it's your fault. And so this was really the first time that I really had to take it on myself. This is something that really didn't work because I couldn't make it work. And making art is very much it is directly related to how much failure you can handle. Because art is usually an extension of a human being. So I'm extending myself with what I create. And then you, who can consume this, can look over at my extension and go, meh, right? You can say you don't like it. And that's a piece of rejection.
Right.
That's a piece of failure. And so if it weren't for Africa teaching me how to fail, there's no way I'd still be doing music.
So now, let's talk about the journey to Yellow Balloons. What are some of the stories of the songs on here that illustrate some of what you've spoken about? Because, you know, many people think about songwriting as this great moment of crafting where, you know, you sit down and creativity hits you with a great arrow and the light shines, and the glory of God came in. And I downloaded this song from the heavenlies. The terrestrial met with the celestial, and here it is on a CD.
Yeah, and that's exactly what that record is. So go ahead and go buy it. Purchase it at any store near you. Actually, I would say what I do when I write songs is, this is a little grotesque, but I call them spiritual vomit.
Ooh.
So that's more along the lines of what that record is.
Bro, this is not spiritual vomit, too. It's a very good record.
It's a good record, but what I do is I write about me. So if you listen to a record, you listen to that record, and you're actually getting a snapshot into my life for some period of time. And so you actually get an exact look at what my life looks like and how I related to God and how I related to other people. That record specifically, about 2 years ago, my family went through some serious loss and some tragedy. And so that is me writing about my experience with, it was my 2-year-old niece went down for a nap and didn't wake up from her nap. Completely healthy, not really a scientific reason for why it happened, but it did. And so that record is me living with that grief, living with that loss, and that's the byproduct of that period of my life.
You know, I really would want to know about your relationship with Africa now, you going back to Zambia, but the last question I want to ask you, and maybe we can do that off camera, or we could do that on Facebook, actually, so you don't get it on the program, get it on Facebook. Right?
Okay.
But what are some of the testimonies or some of the stories that's come back as people have engaged with these pieces of spiritual vomit that's encouraged you that, you know what, this is why I should carry on. This is why I should be more open. This is why I should vomit more.
Yeah, maybe I should use a different term next time. Honestly, that's why I do this. And I know that's like a little bit too much instant gratification, but I do it because of the emails and the Facebook messages and the tweets that I get.
And one that jumps into your mind right now, when I ask you, one that you see immediately, you think,
I have a terrible memory, so I'm gonna go with one that I read this morning. I'll just do that one. There's a specific song in there, Yellow Balloons. By the way, Yellow Balloon is traditionally something you let go at a child's memorial service, which is why the record is called that. But the title track is the only song I wrote specifically about Mariah, my 2-year-old niece. And exactly how I feel about this specific story. And I was unaware before I wrote this song how often people are losing infants and miscarrying and have some sort of tragic, unexplained SIDS loss. It is wildly rampant. And so I got a Facebook message from a lady yesterday who she was a month out of losing a 6-month-old baby.
Wow.
And her I mean, the way that I read it was just, she's pouring herself into this email, and there's no explanation. I don't know the reason, right? I can't go, oh, this is why God did this. This is why it's okay. I don't know.
Oh.
Like, it's difficult to explain, but there's comfort in knowing that you're not alone. And that's with that song specifically. That was what she was doing. Is going, I'm not alone, and I'm comforted by the fact that we both love Jesus. And to know he loves us in spite of all of this stuff that's happening to us.
David, thank you so much for speaking to us.
My pleasure.
Turning Point. Thank you.